Hackers are actively stealing billions of dollars through a dangerous vulnerability in your phone that gives them access to all of your accounts. They typically target your bank accounts and social media accounts, but absolutely none of your accounts are safe from this hack unless you know exactly what it is and how to prevent it. This hack is most commonly known as a SIM swap attack. In the simplest terms, a SIM swap attack is when a hacker manages to route all future calls and texts to his phone instead of yours. Once the hacker has control of your phone number, they gain access to your email by requesting a temporary login code via SMS. And unfortunately, once they're in your email account, it's typically game over for you since your other accounts can be easily accessed through a password reset via email. But the damage doesn't stop with your accounts. You see, once the hacker steals whatever they can from you, then they're going to post scam links on your social media accounts pretending to be you. And then your unsuspecting followers are going to think that it's you and click on the links without realizing that it's actually a hacker on the other end. In this video, we'll not only explore how these attacks happen, but what you can do to protect yourself from becoming a victim. We'll also hear from several victims who were deeply impacted by this. And if you appreciate videos like this, please show your support by subscribing and dropping a like and comment below the video. Before we dive too deep, it's important for you to learn what a SIM card actually is. A SIM card is a tiny identification chip in your phone. It tells your carrier who you are, what your phone number is, and even stores information like contacts and text messages. But more importantly, it tells the carrier where to send your phone calls and texts so that they end up on your actual device. Now let's explore how this attack actually works. You see, it usually starts with the hacker gathering as much information as they can about you. Usually includes data like your full name, your home address, your date of birth, even sometimes your social security number, and just tons of other identifying information. Once they have enough information, they'll contact your phone carrier pretending to be you and claim that they've lost their SIM card. Then they'll try to get your phone number transferred to a new SIM card that they own. And if they're successful, they'll immediately have full control over your phone number and they can receive your calls, text messages, but most importantly, any two-factor authentication codes sent via SMS. These companies are the gatekeepers of your phone number. They're supposed to verify the identity of the person making the request before they transfer your phone number to a new SIM card. But in the case of SIM swapping attacks, scammers have found ways to use social engineering to exploit the process. Some even resort to bribing employees to do the swap and turn a blind eye. This is a serious issue, and it's something that cell providers need to address and take accountability for. Okay, let's shift gears for a bit and talk about some of the largest SIM swapping attacks that we've seen to date. One of the most notable cases occurred in 2018 involving a crypto investor named Michael Turpin. See, Turpin fell victim to a SIM swapping attack that led to the theft of $24 million worth of his crypto being stolen. And even with additional security measures on his own accounts, this hack was still possible, which shows just how serious and damaging these attacks can be. And really, there's nothing that you can do about them except for be aware and try to add as many layers of security as you can. In another shocking case, a hacker group known as The Community was charged in 2019 for their involvement in a series of SIM swapping attacks that stole over $2.4 million from high-profile crypto investors. Even high-profile tech executives aren't immune to these attacks. In 2019, previous Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey fell victim to a SIM swapping attack that allowed hackers to gain control of his Twitter account. These attackers used the access to spread offensive messages from Dorsey's account before Twitter was able to regain control. This incident demonstrated that no one is truly safe from SIM swapping attacks. These aren't just numbers and abstract stories. Real people suffer significant losses every day due to these attacks. Let's consider the case of Robert Ross. Ross was a victim, and within minutes, his life savings of $1 million were drained from his accounts. Ross had been saving this money for his daughter's education, and the attack didn't just result in financial loss for him, it also had a severe emotional impact on his entire family. Now let's hear directly from a few people who were impacted by these attacks. First up is someone who is still working to secure all of his accounts after being attacked.
What's up, guys? Patty Stash here. As many of you know, I'm sure already, I was SIM hacked a couple days ago. I was actually targeted by someone. I found out through my provider that someone went into a store as me, used identification, and somehow they allowed them to change my SIM. which resulted in the hacker basically targeting my Telegram account and putting phishing messages out so that if people click a link, they get scammed. And unfortunately, they successfully did it with a couple people. I was watching it happen. I saw it happening, and I was deleting the messages as they're posting. And then the only thing that I could have thought of that would have prevented this was to delete my entire account, which is basically what I did. They hacked into everything. Every account, I had to change everything. It's been a disaster. Like, you know, it's just demoralizing because I take the proper precautions and then this happens. So.
Next, we have Chip, who lost a devastating amount of his life savings after clicking a link posted by Patty, not knowing that his account was compromised.
My name's Chip, and I lost what was $1 million. It's close to 500,000 from today's money. So I had my little boy here, and I saw this notification come up from Paddy in his Telegram channel, and Paddy's, you know, a good friend, trusted guy. And I remember in my head going, like, it's fine, it's Paddy, you know, thinking through all this security stuff. And when I saw it was like 100 in this white list thing or whatever, I was like, oh, I want to be in that. You know, I'm like a top 30 holder of Suka, I think. So I, you know, wanted my place in there. And so wasn't thinking. And then my son's mother came to pick him up, like at that precise moment. So I'm like just trying to scramble, like I'd already connected my wallet. So at that point, it was about revoking as quickly as possible. But I was over here giving my kid a goodbye cuddle and whatnot. And by the time it was done, it sucked everything. I drained my wallet, not just of Suka either, of you know, all coins and some NFTs as well. You know, like going from 600-700 grand to nothing is like it's a huge impact. I mean, it's devastating. You know, I'm on my knees. Like a few days ago, everything was looking pretty decent for me, and now I'm thinking about how I'm going to cover rent. You know, it's like it's crippled me, man. Like I'm just, I don't know, man. I don't know.
The stories that these victims share are powerful reminders of the very real and human impact of SIM swap attacks. We must remember that behind each of these cases, there are individuals whose lives have been greatly affected, but also the emotional toll that it takes and the sense of violation that comes with being targeted in such a personal way. Drop a comment below if you know anybody who's been impacted by a SIM swap attack. Now that we've seen how these attacks impact real people, let's talk about two-factor authentication, or 2FA for short. You see, 2FA adds an extra layer of security to your account so that when you log into your accounts, you'll also be required to provide a second layer of verification beyond just your password. For most people, this is a 5 or 6 digit code that they receive on their phones through text message. Two-factor authentication can sometimes be a double-edged sword. You see, if your phone is compromised and you're using two-factor authentication to send a text message to your phone with a code to access your account, then that hacker gets that code and can access your account. The better method of 2FA is through code generator apps like Google Authenticator. These apps generate one-time passwords on your device itself, meaning that if your phone number is compromised, an attacker would not have access to these 2FA codes. The beauty of apps like Google Authenticator is that they don't rely on your phone number, but rather on a secret seed that's only stored on your device. This seed is used to generate codes that change every 30 seconds, providing a constantly rotating password that is virtually impossible to intercept by hackers. Setting up Google Authenticator is a straightforward process. Once you download the app on your phone, all you need to do is go into the settings on the account that you want to enable 2FA for and look for the option to set up 2FA with a code generator. You'll typically see a QR code that you need to scan with the app. So open the app and click on the plus button to add a new account, and then scan that QR code. And once you set it up, you're good to go. Just repeat that process for every account you want to secure, and voila, you've just added an extra layer of security to your account, one that's much less prone to SIM swapping attacks. Preventing a SIM swapping attack involves more than just securing your 2FA. It's a combination of best practices that reduce your exposure to potential risks. Your email account often serves as the recovery option for all your online accounts. This makes it the biggest target for attacks, so be sure to lock down your email account with every security option you can. It's also a smart idea to use several email addresses to obfuscate your accounts even more. For example, try using a different email address for your banking than you do with your social media accounts. Most cellular providers also offer additional security measures, such as a support PIN. If you enable this feature, then each time you call their support, they'll ask you for your PIN before continuing the conversation or making any important changes to your account. See, this prevents hackers entirely, because then if they call in, they're not going to know your PIN. So make sure that this PIN is something that They will never guess from online. Don't make it easy like 1111 or 1234 or anything like that. Make it something that nobody's going to know, and make sure that it's different than your phone passcode, than your garage code, than the code on your door. Make sure that it's completely different. With all that said, the best thing you can do is use code generators instead of SMS codes for all your accounts. And while your social accounts may not seem like a target unless you have a large following, you must realize that hackers will take every opportunity they can to scam people, and you owe it to your followers to take steps to protect them. So be sure to enable 2FA via code generators on all your accounts. That's a wrap on today's video. If you found it useful and informative, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to stay updated and keep your knowledge sharp, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family, because remember, when it comes to online security, we're all in this together. Until next time, stay safe out there.